What if your intuition didn't just guide you? What if it mobilized a movement? Welcome to Catalyst of Change, the space where we explore what it means to lead with soul, create with intention, and serve from the heart. Today's guest is Ania Mica, entrepreneur, intuitive, and humanitarian in the making, whose love for Cuba sparked a grassroots effort getting clothing and essentials directly into the hands of families who need them most. Guided by spirit, community, and a fierce devotion to action, Ania shows us what happens when you ask out loud and people answer. Let's dive in. I'm so excited for this conversation.
I am so thrilled. I'm so grateful to be here.
Thank you for being here. Thank you for saying yes. And, we met fairly recently at an event through a mutual friend.
Yes,
Shout out, Jillian.
Shout out to Jillian.
And when I heard about what you were up to, I was just totally blown away. And I am just so excited for this conversation to dive in, because even that evening, although I didn't have the chance, I had all these questions and curiosities. So now I'm like, we get this chance to really go into them, because you are such a bright, shining soul, just your presence in general.
Oh, thank you so much.
Yes.
So are you.
Well, thank you.
We gravitated toward each other.
We did.
We weren't introduced. We introduced ourselves.
We did. That's true. That is actually true. And I thought, wow, who is this amazing, beautiful, shining soul, heart and soul? And I think one of the places I want to start is, what in your life inspired you to be this person? Because you could do or be anything. It takes something to be someone who thinks of others. So what do you think is it that inspires you to be that person?
Truly believe that the challenges that we overcome is where all of this growth begins. And my challenges actually started in utero. My mother was pregnant with me about 24 weeks, I think she said. And she went to use the bathroom and found blood. So she had to go to the hospital. And the hospital did all these kinds of tests on her. And they found that there was actually a large tear in the amniotic sac. So in utero, here I am fighting for my life. And they said that there's 3 things that can happen. A miracle would be carrying her to term, which was me. Infection could get in, or you'd have a premature labor. So coming from a religious family, my uncle's a priest, her brother's actually a priest. My grandmother got the news, and she was so concerned. At the time, my uncle had been studying at the Vatican, and he had just traveled to Poland to do masses. And she sent him a telegram about the information of what had just happened. So they realized that the way it happened was my mother was getting these tests every day, and they kept coming back positive. The way she described it was imagining a faucet drip, and that they're testing the sink for moisture. So the test kept coming back that the fluid was leaking, and the amniotic fluid actually develops the lungs. So you wouldn't be able to breathe without that. So my uncle proceeded to say a mass for me, and every day he was going to say masses for me. And they actually timed it that based on the time difference. And again, the hospital didn't believe that I was going to be carried to term. My mother also at one point fell to her knees and prayed to the Blessed Virgin Mary and said, I really want this child, but if you feel more of a need for her, I give her your soul. She surrendered to the thought of losing me. So you can imagine the anxiety my mother must have been feeling while I was there, growing inside of her. And they timed it that when my uncle had said the mass, my mother was at the hospital getting the testing, and the test came back negative. And even the doctors, Dr. Engel, hello, from Mount Sinai Hospital, he was in shock. He said that immediately I was a miracle baby and that this was a miracle. And not only was I was almost carried to full term, I was only 4 days shy. So I would have been born on my grandfather, my mother's father's birthday. So I feel like even before I was here on earth, I was already a survivor. And I was already fighting, and then with that comes of course you hear you're a miracle baby your whole life. And then you're like, well, I've got to do really big things. And when you're young, you really don't know what you should be doing, right? You're really not sure what direction you should go in. I fell in love with dance. I fell in love with theater. I fell in love with community. And just as I got into dance and got really good at it, I started winning almost every competition I had entered. I'd learned from my older sisters We came home from school one day. It was a Friday, February 17th. And for some reason, my uncle was there. And for some reason, my grandmother was there. And my mother was there. And everybody had looked like they were crying. So at 8 years old, the next challenge came. My father passed away. So it wasn't just a regular death either. Unfortunately, it was a suicide. So at 8 years old, I had this challenge of growing up very quickly and also having to realize that death doesn't just come in illness. It's not just cancer. It's not just things that take people away. Sometimes we can take our own lives. And having to sit with that at the age of 8 and still find happiness and still find hope, I think that's what helped me become who I am. Seeing my mother's strength, being a single mother, 34 years old, 4 kids, ages 6 to 12, and watching her do it, not only on her own, she did have help at times, but she was this strong life force energy that any time going forward that I felt challenged, it was so minuscule in comparison. So I could never give myself an excuse as to why I couldn't get through something. And this helped me, lead myself down the path of wanting to help everyone. If anybody needed help, as long as I could reach out my hand and help them, I would. And that's where I think it all started. It started from before I was even on this earth.
Oh my gosh, that is just so profound. That is
It's a lot of info, but
yeah,
yes.
it is, and it's just so beautiful. It is so
Thank you.
powerful, and it is miraculous, and it
Yes.
is like so multidimensional, and it
Yes.
brings in like the power of the beyond, right? Beyond what we can see, God, and what you believe, whoever's listening.
Yeah.
That is so much power, and then the power of your mother,
Yes, and her strength.
her strength.
And knowing that we have a 1 in 400 billion chance of being here. So I was a miracle, but every single one of us is actually a miracle. And if you think that by being chosen as that 1 in 400 billion, you're not here for a purpose, we all have a purpose.
Wait, explain that, the 400 billion.
Well, I was reading about some scientific studies through Harvard, and it was actually today I was kind of reading, like, what are the chances of being born?
Right.
And there's literally a 1 in 400 billion chance of being born.
Wow.
So we're all miracles. So if you take it to that molecular level and stop taking life so seriously that you take every challenge like it's the end of the world, we're all here as miracles. There has to be a purpose.
Right. What do you feel is your purpose? Did you know that over 70% of young people in the United States report struggling with anxiety, and more than 1 in 5 teens experience a mental health challenge each year? At Love, Peace, Harmony, we believe in the healing power of art, music, and community. Our programs help youth express emotions, build confidence, and rediscover their joy and purpose. Your $35 monthly membership directly supports and impacts emotional wellness programs that change lives, one song, one calligraphy, one heart at a time. Join the movement. Become a member today at lovepeaceharmony.org.
That's a very good question. I think my purpose is to show people that no matter what life throws your way, you can survive. And that through that survival, you can transmute any energy. So if you're in a dark place and you're feeling like there's nothing that's going to help you, just know that if you're vulnerable and you're open and you're honest and you ask for help, so many hands will reach back. The fear of vulnerability stops a lot of people from doing things. And the fear of fear alone, right? The only time fear is something you need to worry about is if you're going to hurt yourself or hurt someone else. But when you're feeling fear in a new situation, if you're trying to do something new, it's usually just challenging you to know your own strength and to keep pushing forward.
And you mentioned, like, just before we got on here, we were talking about the energy and how
energy cannot be created or destroyed, only transformed. So if you know that you can transform the energy around you, it doesn't matter what's thrown your way. You can transmute that to light. If there's negativity around you, you can transmute that and transform it into positivity. And it's all in your mindset. It's how do you wake up in the morning? What are the rituals you do for yourself to bring yourself back to baseline? Because life will knock you down a million times. I mean, life doesn't go without its challenges. But how are you helping yourself every day? Are you meditating? Are you eating healthy? Are you sleeping? Are you going to the gym or doing something physical for yourself? Are you dancing? What are you doing that makes you happy? And I think that's very important to find your way out of the darkness by creating your own light.
For sure. And I love those questions because it makes us think about like what are those things that we're doing in our lives that we're able to access or to bring us to those states. What do we enjoy? And I feel like just based on like one of the things that you shared in this mission, this kindness mission,
Yes,
is like just being of service to others and like
exactly.
being that light and that kindness, which is like literally what you are. Like you are that, you embody that. And it's just like so beautiful. So, how do you feel like you access that and bring it out in your daily life, that kindness?
I think that I see it in small acts. I mean, if you just look around and see the signs, there's so many things. The universe is kind to us, or God, or whatever you believe in. When you see like a butterfly pass you, what do you feel? You know, when you get to see a sunrise or a sunset, we have all these easily accessible, free things that God gives us every single day that can bring our vibration higher. So, yeah, I just feel like it's really important to lead with your heart and lead with kindness. Ask for help when you need it. You know that nobody knows what they're doing. I think that's the biggest thing I realized is that there's a lot of people in our world that don't forgive their parents or hold on to trauma or things like that. But if we just realize that our parents, even if they're 70 years old, they're still a child of that age. They're still a child of that era. And, there comes a point in time where you kind of have to choose for yourself. Like whatever you've been told in your past doesn't have to be your end all be all. You can change that. And what do you want to be? Who do you want to be? How do you want to show up? And you change that in your daily routine. And forgiveness is so important with all of life's challenges. I think the hardest thing to do is even forgive yourself. I found that very challenging for me because I became a perfectionist at one point in my life. And then when I learned self-forgiveness, I was kind of like, let's just go with the flow, Every single thing we've been through, we learn something from it. The darkest time create the most momentous things in your life. And for me, with this mission that I'm on, it's my love for Cuba. I've loved Cuba my whole life. I found it like a landing point for me. Whenever I needed an escape, I just love floating in the Veradero Beach is one of the most beautiful beaches in the world. If you haven't been, please go. And just floating in the salt water for hours gives you a bunch of time to yourself to think about the things that you need. And after all the years of going there, I've realized that one thing I don't see that's changed is the poverty. So I figured, okay, I'm one person. What can I do? I can fill my suitcase. I can bring my suitcase. So I started doing that. And then you start getting to know people. I actually now have a Tio and a brother. They've adopted me. And Tio was a man that was walking on the beach one day. And this is kind of where it all started, where I realized that I can do a bit more. And he was selling excursions, like skydiving. And I'm petrified of heights. So I was like, I'm not skydiving in Cuba. I won't even skydive in like a controlled environment, like I fly. Like I won't go to any of those places. So we just got to talking and I was asking him like, truthfully, how much do you make off of this like $200 excursion? I was asking him, I got him some food and we just sat there. And when he told me how little he made off of each purchase, which is next to impossible, not a lot of people skydive when they're in another country. It just started this like fire in me where I was like, I just want to get to know as many people as I can to hear their challenges and see what I can do to help them. And because of Tio, I was able to connect with several different churches in other communities. So Cardenas is an area where I've connected with a Presbyterian church, and it's kind of like driving from Toronto to Mississauga. So just being able to be comfortable enough to communicate and learn about another person and listen to what they have to say and just show up the way you said you were going to, that's what's actually started this movement, because now we're moving on to Santa Marta, Havana, Santiago de Cuba. So it's kind of word is spreading in Cuba. And the best part of this, I don't speak Spanish. So with a language barrier, you can still make moves. I am currently Duolinguing. It yells at me every 3 days.
The sad phase.
Sometimes it's like, why aren't you messaging me? Do you not want to learn Spanish? And I'm like, I'm picking up clothes. Give me a minute. But again, I mean, Challenges are only challenges if you allow them to be. There's always a way around things.
Wow.
There really is always a way around things. And I don't speak Spanish, yet I'm speaking to people that I've met that are being a translator for me. I'm speaking to government officials the next trip to learn more about how I can bring more items in. And it's just when the fire in you starts to burn, don't ignore it. Don't fear it. Don't allow fear to stop you from following your dreams, from following your passion. You don't have to know what you're doing. Just do it.
Oh my gosh, there's so much in here. Like,
I started rambling.
You know what you're doing.
Just do it. Just do it. Have faith in yourself, and the angels will appear. So as I proceeded with this, bringing a luggage or two, I started realizing that the best way to do this is bring as many people as I can, because you're kind of capped at a third luggage. Depending on the airline, it's about $150 to $250 to bring a third luggage. It gets costly. Yeah. So rather than stop me, I'm just going to plan a group trip.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Why not?
Absolutely, for sure. So my curiosity is to go back. So what was the time where you were there? You had this exchange with Tio. What was that first trip where you're like, I'm coming and I'm bringing items with me? Like, how did that unfold?
I think that was when I met Tio 2.5 years ago, because I never realized what a leader in his community he was until before the end of that week, because I had met him, I think it was day 2. I was there for 7 days. And I think it was day 5. He was like, do you want to come over to my house and meet my wife and have some real Cuban coffee? And I love coffee. So there was no way I was saying no to that. And the funny thing is he lives on the main floor of a building. His door is always open. And he always has the internet. He lives on the main grid where the hotels are, so they do keep the internet going most of the time there. But in neighboring communities, they can lose their internet, they can lose their power. So as we're having this one coffee, I've probably been there for a half an hour, and I've seen maybe 4 or 5 people just like walk into Tio's house, charge their phone, bring their food from their fridge that no longer has electricity so it doesn't go bad. Put it like nobody's speaking. They're just like walking in and out of his house. So now we've affectionately called it Tio's Internet Cafe. So through him, I've been able to meet so many people because I realized that he was a hub. He was a person that everybody was going to. And by the end of that week, I had a bunch of clothes that were mine that I'm like, I don't need any of these. And my spouse was the same. He had all these clothes. He's like, I just want to give these all to Tio. So we made the 2-kilometer walk to Tio's house. And I think the most beautiful thing I saw there was the fact that he had 5 or 6 shirts that were given to him. And he gave all of them away except one. And it just melted my heart in ways you can't imagine. Yeah. That each person I've offered bags of clothes, like, what do you need? They'll just take one thing. And a lot of the time, it's not even for them. Yeah. Yeah. So after meeting Tio, I think that's what really got the ball rolling. I also met my brother, Angel Hernandez, and he is a musician. So I started learning about the community of musicians and if they get paid or don't get paid and what they do. And so I had these 2 hubs, one in Veradero and one in Santa Marta. And I would get all the sizes of clothes that they needed before and either buy them or find ways to source them, whether it was Value Village or asking some people in my community. But I think it wasn't until maybe 3 or 4 months ago that I was like, I need to do this. I need to do it on a bigger scale. You know, I got into that mode of, I know I can do this and I know I can just trust that I'm aligned in the right path because things just started flowing. Wow. Sorry, I'm talking a lot.
Well, this is the point.
That's the point of this podcast is to talk a lot.
No, it's perfect. Yeah. And I shared this on one of our other episodes, but I had this moment of, I was in India.
Dream. I can't wait to go there.
I can't wait to share more with you. Yeah, like let's go, honestly. And I remember driving along this, it was this long bridge and it looked like we were about to approach a river. So I was getting really excited because I thought, oh my gosh, this is, we're about to come over this river. I'm like getting ready to take a picture, look out the window. And as we start driving over this bridge, I look to my left to look at the beautiful, like massive river, like huge. Like if you just, I'm trying to imagine what it would be like the bridge in Broadview or something like that big, like massive. And I look to the left and there's no water, but there's just a mound of clothes.
Wow.
That it was like a landfill. Like it was like, but it wasn't an official landfill. It was just people had dumped clothing waste, and it was just there's so much it completely took over where this river was supposed to be. Yeah. But as you're speaking, it makes me think, what kind of opportunities could be out there that exist in the world that could even just relocate
those items
that are in perfect condition, that could be like cleaned. And you, like when you mentioned, for example, Value Village, there's gotta be something that that fire is inspiring.
It is. And I feel like I need to go to India and find this bridge.
Yes, I feel that too. That's it. For some reason, as you were sharing, it really like dawned on me, made me think there's a lot of places, and you're shedding light on this, where there's like a need.
Definitely.
But somewhere else in the world,
there's a lack.
And
it fits like a puzzle piece.
Yes, exactly. And like you yourself are doing that. There's so many people, for example, here where we are in Canada, who just have this overflow of items, shoes we haven't worn, clothes we haven't worn or we in a while, and Plato's Closet, Value Village, whatever you want to say, all these places. And you're saying, hey, I can use the time and bring it. And like my curiosity is, how has the response been from your community when you
It has been such a beautiful response. It shows you that kindness is deeply alive in our communities. I had just thrown it out on social media. I don't have a humongous following. I just, you have to be vulnerable when you're growing. And I knew that financially, I can't do this all on my own. So I reached out to just my network of people, and I had people messaging me right away. Hey, Ania, are you free tomorrow? I have a bag of clothes. Or, hey, Ania, I have a bunch of vitamins that I know I'm not going to use. Do you want to take those? Hey, Ania, I have feminine hygiene products, hair ties, socks, and everything. You name it, they had it. And if you saw what my home looks like right now, it is a mountain of like bags and clothing, because I do meticulously go through them all and make sure they can be used. But the outpouring support is nothing that I imagined. And that's how you know when you're in alignment. You don't always have to know what you're doing, but have faith that when you need help, it will come to you, or a door will open, or a path will show, and you follow that path. But if you don't go down that path, you're never going to know what's on the end of it. I mean, meeting you, what a blessing. Being here, what a blessing. If you asked me 8 weeks ago if I thought I'd be on this beautiful podcast with you, I wouldn't even imagine it was a reality. But based on the people we knew and being in the right place at the right time, we were aligned. So there's been an overwhelming support. And I think the best part of this whole situation is people are also giving me winter clothes and winter boots, which based on Cuba's climate, it's not something that I can bring. So now all of the surplus of things that I can't bring there, I'm donating to other places throughout our communities, other shelters and other hubs in our community that are helping our own community.
Oh my gosh.
So it's really not just going to be Cuba. It's wherever I travel. I love to travel. Wherever I travel, wherever I see the injustices in the world, I want to do my best to fix what I can. With the help and the support of the community, we can do anything.
Oh, yes.
We can.
It's so true. It is like so true. And you are living it. And my curiosity is for those listening, for our viewers and our listeners, they may be like, this is so cool. Like, I want to do this. I'm going here. I'm going there. Like, so what would you say to them how to get started or how to try this out?
Well, for one, in Cuba, if you're ever going to Cuba, pay the extra for another luggage. The thing I've noticed in my travels, I wasn't sure if I was going to bring this up, but there's this almost like poverty tourism mindset that happens when you go to a third world country, and then you're wanting to buy this glass from someone there for $5, they're saying, and you're like $2.50. All of a sudden you don't have the money to spend, even though you do. So spend that extra money on that luggage and intentfully bring that luggage for the people of Cuba. If we all did this mission would be on fire. If every person going to Cuba brought a luggage, and don't be afraid to ask around communities. You can always contact me. I can always have people help and support you with your donations. But don't fear trying. Don't fear looking through your clothes and realizing that you have way more than you need, or you don't need these things anymore. And rather than donate them somewhere else, bring them with you to Cuba. And if you needed to get in connection with any people that could bring them to the church for you, all the churches will always take your items. So if you find any local church, you can drop it off there, as well as I have contacts that will help you as well. But just don't fear doing something good for someone. Don't worry about, will it get done? Am I going to meet the right people? I don't speak the language. I don't know anybody there. Cuba's a very safe place. And you could literally roll your suitcase to the street and open it and ask people if they need things. And that suitcase will be gone. The items and contents in that suitcase will be gone in like 10 minutes. So, yeah, I really hope that people see this and know that they can make a change. They can be the catalyst of change as well. And they can support me in this mission. Even if you don't want to donate, bring your own suitcase and donate it. Because if every single one of us do that, I've already brought over 1,100 pounds of essential items myself.
Wow.
Myself. And now another 8 luggages and 4 carry-on bags in 2 weeks.
Wow.
So if I can do it, you can do it.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, and what do you find? You mentioned some of the things like clothing, feminine hygiene products.
Yes.
Like, what do you find that people are needing? Yeah.
A lot of the time they do need clothing. So just to kind of get a bearing on what it costs for Cubans to purchase things, the average Cuban makes $8.90 a month Canadian. That's a month. That's not an hour. A doctor or an engineer can make $20 to $25. People in the tourism industry, so the people you see in the hotels, they make about $11.50 an hour. So imagine that. To purchase, let's say, 10 pounds of chicken, it's $10 Canadian. It's almost an entire month's salary. So if you have a family of 4 or 5, how are you able to support them? And they do have a system where the government will give you, I think they get a pound of rice. I think it's like 2 or 3 liters of milk. And yes, they're supposed to get meat or fish, but that's only if they have it. If they don't have it, they're eating beans and rice, sugar, plantain. So they're only given what they're given. Yeah. So it's definitely bringing essentials like shoes. Shoes are anywhere between $10 and $15 Canadian. A shirt is between $7 and $10 Canadian. So shoes and clothing and, of course, feminine hygiene products, medicine. So the hospitals are free. Medical system is free, but they can't afford to buy the prescriptions. So if you have any vitamins that are kicking around or you want to actually purchase something intentfully, vitamins are phenomenal for them. Even tea. I've brought like dandelion tea. My tea was falling in love with dandelion tea and chai tea. They don't have things like that there. So check your closets and check your cabinets and see what you have that you don't need. Even, toys. I gave a little girl a doll. It was just this tiny little thing. And her face lit up. She was like moved to tears. And she said to her father, like, I can't wait to bring this to school and show my friends so we all can play with it.
Oh my gosh.
So
That's so
it's basically everything. Underwear, undergarments, pants, shorts, swimming trunks. Another thing I learned recently, and I've just purchased 120 reading glasses. Oh, wow. So if you're ever going to the dollar store before you go to Cuba, which I know a lot of people do, make sure you grab some of the reading glasses because that's another challenge for them, a big challenge for them. It's an aging community I've learned through my TO, and a lot of them don't have glasses, so they're not able to see as clearly.
Okay, this is all really helpful, very specific, and I think you mentioned the little girl with the doll and how
Yes.
she wanted to share it.
Yes.
And also like the humility of like you said, some people would just grab one piece and sometimes it's not even for themselves.
Yes.
And I think also for myself, going to places like rural places in India. I just recently got back from Nepal and we work with a community in Nepal. And it's very similarly to what you said. I had an exchange with Raju, one of our volunteers there who lives in a really, like, it's basically a community. And most of the people that live there, they sell steel or they're beggars. Like, it's a very um, challenging living situation, but they just have so much love and so much humility and so much like just like care for one another unconditionally. And like I remember offering, we want to get you some things like, and he said, "Oh no, I have a shirt."
Mm-hmm.
He said, I have a shirt, I have pants, I'm okay, I have everything I need. And I just was like, and I like
And you
had
think
to
about
hold back my
yourself.
tears
Yeah.
because he just genuinely was like, I don't need another shirt, I have a shirt. And it's like, wow.
I know. And then we're here with a closet full of things and being like, I have nothing to wear. I have to buy something new.
Exactly.
Right. So, oh, yeah, this has really humbled me, this experience. I've never been one to collect material things. I've never been that way. But, I'll have my 2 or 3 pairs of running shoes. I have 1 pair of running shoes now, 1 pair of flip-flops, 2 pairs of high heels, which I rarely wear. So thank you for letting me wear my heels today.
Yeah, like gorgeous.
But it really does teach you to be humble and be happy for what you have.
Yeah.
And find, the little things to be grateful for. Because the one thing I can say about Cubans is they are happy. They are so happy. On one of these journeys, I recently brought a friend who had never been, and she was actually quite emotional one day. I won't name her name because I know she'll be like, Ania. But she did get very emotional in the streets. We were walking the street to go to my favorite restaurant. It's called Salsa Suarez. So I always support local, and it's one of my favorite places in Veradero. And on our walk, it's about a 2-kilometer walk, she was just seeing different people and she got very emotional. And I looked at her and I said, because she's like, it's just that they're poor and I'm so sad. And I said to her, but look how happy they are. And the one thing that they have that a lot of us don't have is time. A lot of time to spend with their families. They're all a part of community. They really believe in community. If something happens at one person's house, there's like 7. I remember Tio's TV broke. He has a TV, and it's very expensive to get a TV. I've been trying to do it. It's not going to happen this trip, but eventually. And there's like 6 people at his house within like 10 minutes. And I'm like, how did this happen? He's like, oh, I sent out 1 message. So it's that value that they have of time. They're creating experiences with their loved ones that, if you're in a 9 to 5 or you're working 2 or 3 jobs or you're only seeing your parents on Christmas, Easter, and their birthday, they get to see their families all the time. So there's also that beauty of knowing that they have the luxury of freedom that a lot of us don't. And then they teach you the love through community and the supports through community, that not everything has to be done on your own.
It's so true. This is like so beautiful.
Thank you.
It is. And I feel like it's very cyclical because it's like, yes, we are contributing physical items in terms of clothing or, essential needs. They're also contributing, inspiring us and, like, wow.
Yes.
Like you said, like humbling and gratitude and
Very
like
much so.
perspective and just like remembering what's really important. And also like reminding us how to live in community, how to live. Like we were recently talking in an episode about our phones and how so many of us, we can just be at home with our families and not even talking because we're just on our phones.
Or sending each other reels while you're sitting on the same couch.
Exactly.
It's bizarre.
Yeah. It's like the most
Put
bizarre
the phone down.
thing.
Yeah.
And it's like when that's not present, there's connection.
Of course.
It's like there's presence. So that's what I love about what you're sharing is you're bringing this like grander awareness, this bigger picture where it's like it's about supporting and helping. It's also almost like about understanding and like you share about kindness. It's a kindness mission. So it's actually how are we bringing kindness? These clothing that are like a medium for even something greater. All these essential items are a medium almost to just show love and
Exactly.
have that love reciprocated.
Exactly.
You know, how you're talking about going and engaging in the local community, supporting local, which is something that I find really admirable, because many people are very comfortable just staying in a resort or,
No.
staying
You
behind a
don't learn
gate.
anything on the resort. Don't stay on the resort. Explore. You're there to learn about the culture. You're there to learn about the food. I know they say things like, oh, the food is horrible in Cuba, but you have to remember they don't really have pesticides or any of this stuff. Everything's quite organic, and they don't have a bunch of different herbs they can throw on things to make them taste a different way. So you're really getting like humbling food as well. Like, this is real. This is a real potato. These are real carrots. This is real broccoli. But there's so many beautiful places around, so many restaurants, so many like little pop-ups that people like, the best pizza I've ever had is in a place called Santa Marta. It's kind of like 20 minutes away. And it's just this like tiny little booth this guy has, and he makes these pizzas, and they're like $1. So I buy like a bunch of them. I bring them to Veradero, because sometimes people, a lot of the time people can't afford a car. They share cars. And the funny thing too with the education, not funny, but the interesting thing with the education system being free, you don't realize that half the people working at the resort are actually doctors and engineers. If something bad happened to you, if you fell ill, I would be happy to be in a place like Cuba, because so many people are so well educated.
It's interesting you say that. I haven't shared one thing with you, which is a big reason why when you first shared this with me, I was so excited. This is actually funny. I don't think I shared this with you yet, because we kind of just quickly got it. But the reason it sparked my heart so much is so in grade 12, the first time I ever went somewhere outside of like North America, like Florida or the United States or Canada. I really didn't do too much traveling before that. I went once to Florida to visit my grandparents.
I went once to Florida as well.
Really?
That was it.
Yeah.
And then
that's so
I swear,
funny.
once.
Oh my gosh, that's what. And then and then we went through it was like one of those student things where so it was outside of the school, but me and a friend, we organized a student trip to Cuba, and it became our grad trip. We went to Cayo Coco.
Oh, I wish.
Yes, and the reason this came up in this moment, two things. One is that we were also so moved by just the love and the care of people, but also like the women cleaning our room. We really befriended them. We connected, and we realized like what they did and didn't have. So we were like, oh my gosh. And we literally left like everything we possibly could, like all of our hair stuff, all of our brushes. Yeah. Like clothing, like we made a little package, because we were just like, oh my gosh, I take everything. Like I'd never experienced that before at that age. I just was like 16 at that time.
Wow.
But the other thing is I had an injury. So I was running in the resort really fast, and I fell, and I really, really badly hurt my leg.
Oh no.
And I actually had to go in an ambulance to a hospital.
Wow.
In Cuba.
On
my grad trip at 16.
You're 16 and here you are in an ambulance in another country. Wow. What an experience.
And like, it was one of the best healthcare experiences I have ever had. Everyone, like you said, on the resort was so loving, so caring, and my friends and I were just being silly. I had a friend come with me, and we were joking the whole time, and just like, we were just being like silly, and they were like so, welcoming and so caring. And I had amazing care.
Of course.
I got stitches.
Oh yeah.
I had a little cast thing and everything. And I was back out at the cave party that night, but
exactly, of course, they just get you back
with my crutches.
It's wonderful, dancing.
Yeah, I was 16.
So yeah, you can
live every moment, but
good for you. I'm glad you. I'm glad you firsthand experienced it.
But that's the thing.
Because that's all I hear is that it's like, my tio always says, he's like, he knows a lot of people because, like I said, you see the classic cars, and it's usually rented by 2 or 3 people, so they all know each other. They just take shifts. And he has a friend, I can't remember his name, it's escaping me right now. But he's like, that's so-and-so, and he's a doctor. And that's so-and-so, and he's an engineer. So many of them are so deeply educated that it's the safest place I would feel to be injured.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly. So that's exactly it. So basically,
wow.
It's a long story to confirm
that yes.
And say yes.
To Cuban hospitals and healthcare.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
It was beautiful. And So when you shared this, when we originally met, and every moment I've heard of it since, I was so moved because of having that experience. Like, it was probably one of the first that really opened my eyes to like what other places in the world are like, because I'd only seen
Here. Yeah, in Western culture, you don't really know. I went to Florida as well, so that was like the only trip I went on. And when I was 18, my first trip was Cuba.
Yeah.
And that's where it started. That's where I saw it. And, you know, being a bit fearful of like, will people listen to me? I'm young, right? So I guess I didn't really want to start anything. And it goes to show that you're never too old to start a new chapter. You're never too old to start something new. It's never too late to believe in yourself and believe in your dreams, because here I am having not necessarily no idea what I'm doing, but I don't know where it's going to go. But I'll just take a step forward. Every time something new comes out, I'll try and figure it out. I know that that's what life's about, is just kind of figuring out your way. You don't have to see the end. You just have to believe. So and believe in yourself. Just believe in yourself. It all has to come from within, right? I could listen to people who didn't believe that I could do this. Like, there's people that have been naysayers and perhaps like just projecting their own insecurities, because we're all mirrors, right, of each other. But I just didn't listen. I just stubbornly said, I'm going to do this. And whatever challenges are thrown my way, through the strength of my mother's life, I don't think anything's really going to stop me at this point. I'm just going to keep going.
Wow. Yeah. This is, I mean, it sounds like something simple, because it is simple. It doesn't mean it's easy.
No.
You know, and you are really courageous, and you are really someone who, I want to talk a little bit about the naysayers.
Yes.
Because you mentioned that, and that's something I feel a lot of people who are up to something in life experience.
Yes.
You know, people who, and it's not always malicious. Sometimes people, just like you said, they have their own insecurities. They may themselves be unaware that they're even projecting those insecurities. They can be naysayers, say something's not possible. You know, how could you do that? How could you do that? Have all these questions, constantly be nagging, constantly be saying it's not possible. So how do you deal with that, and how do you move forward anyway? Youth mental health is one of America's most urgent challenges. A vast percentage of United States high school students report persistent sadness or hopelessness. Research shows that art and music therapy can reduce anxiety and depression and strengthen emotional regulation skills. By joining as a Love Peace Harmony member for $35 a month, you help fund healing art and music workshops, mindfulness and emotional wellness programs, and safe spaces for youth connection and confidence, building stronger communities together, bringing healing and hope nationwide. Join us at lovepeaceharmony.org today.
Well, you just listen to yourself. You only know yourself. At the end of the day, this is your life to live. You have one life to live, and you can choose to move through life however you want. Unfortunately, some of the naysayers are not necessary. Right? Some people are just fearful of following their own dreams. And they see you doing it, and then they're fearful of like, wait, why haven't I started? But with your own courage, like finding the courage within to continue to create whatever it is that you're doing, I think it will inspire even the naysayers. Because I've had some of them kind of flip and be like, okay, so you're doing it. Okay, like, how are you going to afford this? How are you going to this? How are you going to that? And I'm like, I'll figure it out. I'll cross that bridge when I come to it. Currently, I'm working on this. Like, don't move too far ahead. Don't move too quickly. Don't expect things not to go without a hiccup.
Right.
That's what life's all about. There's no linear trajectory in life, mostly when you're trying to reach a goal. But the naysayers should be more of an encouragement for you to do it. You know? Prove them wrong.
Yes.
Don't let them weigh you down. Prove them wrong. Oh my gosh. And again, it doesn't have to be malicious, but just, you know what you're doing. You know, you're the pilot of your own life. So take control and just prove the naysayers wrong. And maybe by proving them wrong, they'll change their narrative and start working toward their own dreams and goals as well. Again, I think a lot of the naysayers stem from fear, their own fears and their projections of what they want to do but don't know how to do. So again, nothing incredible comes from being in your comfort zone. You've got to kind of step out of it. You've got to walk through the valley of fear to the other side where your dreams are. And at the end of the day, you come into this life alone and you leave it alone. So if everybody around you is telling you can't do it, all you really need is the light of yourself.
My gosh, that's exactly it.
That's it.
I love
Just
it.
do it. Now's the time. I kept hearing that in my mind. Now's the time. I would hear that drum in my soul. Now's the time. And I didn't understand what now's the time meant. And then it came to me while I was meditating in Cuba. And I'm like, this is it. This is what I need to do. Wow. And you just need to figure out a way. You need to trust the universe, trust the God, trust whatever power is that you believe in, that they've got you. If you have a dream that you've created in your mind, it had to come from somewhere. And if it wasn't something you could actually create into this dimension, you wouldn't have had that dream.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm like, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
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 You've got this.
Yeah, you do.
You do.
Yes.
The only person you have to answer to is yourself. And try to be a better person than you were the day before. And if you weren't a good person in a day, that's okay. We're human. Yeah. Forgive yourself and move forward. Yeah. You know, but with growth also comes people grow out of your life.
Right.
Sometimes people are no longer going in the same direction as you, and that's okay too. Yeah. That season, reason, or lifetime. I'm a firm believer that people are in your life for a season, a reason, or a lifetime. Right? And a lot of the reasons are lessons. Yeah. So don't listen to the naysayers. It's really not worth it. Yes. It's really not.
Yes. That's exactly it. And what if you had a message to just leave everyone with today? If you could share something with the world, if the world was listening, what would you want to leave everyone with?
Well, back to following your dreams. I think you should. I think, like I said, a 1 in 400 trillion chance of being here. You know, don't take life too seriously, that it stops you from following your own heart and your own path, and to always lead with kindness. You know, no kind deed goes unnoticed. The smallest thing is smiling at somebody and telling them you look beautiful, or holding the door, or, you know, helping an elderly person with their groceries. There is definitely a ripple effect to kindness. A quick little story. I once worked at a fast food chain called McDonald's, and it was before the pay it forward movement happened. And I worked in the drive-thru, and what you'd notice is that somebody would pay for their meal and be like, can I pay for the person behind me? So they would. And we would take tally of how many people would do it. The longest one we had going was 26 people. Whoa. Paid for each other, because that first act of kindness led to every single other person feel so much gratitude that someone thought of them, a stranger thought of them that day. So if you're going to go through the world, and if you can be anything, just be kind. Just be kind to yourself and be kind to others. And trust in the journey. Trust that if things just start aligning, keep moving forward. As I mentioned to you, months ago, I wasn't sure I'd be doing this. And because of you, I picked a name. I created the socials. I'm creating a website. So without you and your guidance, I wouldn't even be where I am today. So I really have you to thank for that.
Well, you have yourself to thank.
Yes. But you pushed me in a direction of where I'm uncomfortable.
I appreciate. Well, and like you said, we're mirrors.
Yes.
And you have those people around you, that community. Whether it's someone you just meet, or whether it's a longtime friend or a family member, having those catalysts who inspire us to expand, to grow, to, reach our dreams is so important. So important. So, you have done that for me as well, being here and allowing this to happen, and everything that you're doing, just expanding the horizons, and just knowing this is the beginning.
This is just the beginning. This is just the beginning.
Yes. So by the time you see this, you might even have
Yeah, I will have the website up.
Yes.
It will be www.thekindnessmission.com. Yes. And if you find me on Instagram, I did The Kindness Mission, COM for community, but it's also the website.
Perfect.
So I'll be posting things on there, and I like to thank people. I think what I've also realized is people do want to donate and do good things. Yeah. They just don't know if it's really going where it says it's going.
Yes, exactly.
So, people are actually messaging me and saying, oh my gosh, that woman, she took my dress. I'm so happy.
Yeah.
Or, they're able to see where their items are going, and they're able to see that they are making a difference, even though maybe they've never been to Cuba.
Yes.
But they're still making a difference in a country they've never stepped foot on.
Mm.
And that is the effect of the kindness movement. Being able to, like, that movement of kindness, the kindness mission. Sorry, did I say the wrong? It's so new that I'm like, did I say mission? Okay, good.
Yeah.
But it's a movement and a mission.
Yes.
So just be kind.
Yeah, be kind. I love it. I love it.
Thank
Love
you.
it. Love it. So we'll be sure to link everything below so everyone can connect. And I want to thank you so much for being here and for being a catalyst of change and just everything that you're doing. I'm so honored to be able to witness this journey and
Thank
to be a part of it. And so grateful for you coming today. So
and I'm so honored as well. Thank you for having me be a part of this beautiful mission you're on. And collaborating with me on mine and helping me through it. I really appreciate you.
I appreciate you too. Thank you, Ania, for showing us how spirit becomes service and how one voice can mobilize many. If this conversation moved you, which I'm sure it did, share it with someone who believes in love in action. Support Ania's Cuba mission by donating clothing and essentials or spreading the word, because every share matters. As always, stay present, stay purposeful, and remember, you are the catalyst.